Hello. Thank you for joining me for a brief session about who 360 SOC is and some of the services that we offer within our 360 SOC managed detection and response and SOC as a service offering. My name is Chris Ickelson, and I'm the founder and CEO, and I really truly appreciate the time that you're about to spend with me. And in the future, if we ever get across paths again, hopefully we'll get to share that time and talk a little bit about cybersecurity and IT. I really do enjoy this. Our organization really does a great job with it, and we truly appreciate the time that you've granted us today. So who is 360 SOC? So 360 SOC's organization, we're headquartered out of Phoenix, Arizona. We're known for having less than 1% churn with a large database of vendors that can be facilitated through our advisory practices. Large amount of industry certifications, and most recently, we rated in the top 10 for financial services, banking, and insurance on the Vertical 100. A lot of what we've built around our organization has been passed down from what I've called the reverse DNA methodology. What we feel reverse DNA does is we feel it spearheads the cybersecurity challenges. It flips the technology buying, sourcing, and managing process upside down. It gives you that expert first. It gives you that advisor mentality. And at the end of that, you get a really of what you're looking for as a true white glove experience. As far as how our team facilitates that experience, a lot of it's around having experts, being the expert, and having a lot of certifications and a lot of experience to combine into a group of talent to offer as an offering. When you start looking at the threat landscape and you start looking at the methodologies that organizations are looking to position internally and externally, it brings you to the point where you got to start looking at how are we going to detect, how are we going to respond, how are we going to, mitigate our internal risk tolerance. What is our risk tolerance? How are we detecting that today? Can we move faster? Or maybe that means we need to outsource it so that we can focus on our day-to-day and move faster with a service provider. There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat when it comes to the threat landscape and what you're looking to solve. For most of the organizations I talk to, they're really looking to solve what they call a visibility challenge. Problem solved. The reason why we can solve this problem is, we'll talk about that further, is, historically, most clients and most people we've talked to, they say, having technology is not the problem. It's how they're using the technology or the visibility that the technology grants that truly is the problem. So hopefully we can address that and we can solve that problem. Some of the security operation challenges we're seeing out in the space, which drive people to be able to look out in the service place for managed detection and response, or a SOC as a service type provider, managed security service provider, is obviously the landscape is shifting fast. There's tons of threats. The threat vector is huge. Organizations are challenged with training people, and those people get new jobs, and retaining talent's a challenge. You're consistently training, and it becomes worrisome, and also it becomes a challenge. I mean, it's just, you're training people that are going to other organizations. The next guy, you're doing it over and over again. So we can help challenge that. And then the business risk insights, one of the biggest things I hear from organizations is really the struggle that they have with aligning the cybersecurity data that they're achieving and aligning that with business, and taking that contextual data and applying it to business risk. And that can be a challenge as well. So what are we bringing to the table from a managed detection response standpoint that's going to help solve those challenges? First off, we need to align to something, and we need to have a methodology. And what we've aligned with is we've followed the Gartner SOC triad methodology when it comes to our MDR stack. From a SIEM or a UEBA standpoint, Gartner talks about those as being key functions of the SOC triad methodology. We couple in network detection and response with full packet capture. Love the power of the packet. And group that in with the EDR in the bottom right. Again, looking for those host-based forensics, not necessarily an antivirus. So what is 360 SOC? So 360 SOCs are award-winning managed detection and response. It leverages our reverse DNA. It's staffed with only certified experts, people that have had these roles, for the government, led organizations from a security standpoint, people that are seasoned experts. We don't have tier one or tier two. We leverage technology to bridge that gap and truly spend about 90% of the time hunting and carving away data and looking for unique use cases. And we do that around the clock, 24/7, 365. So when you start looking at 360 SOC and what else what other challenges are we overcoming? So number one is when it comes to any SOC, it's alert fatigue, it's false positive, it's those things that rabbit holes chasing. Those are challenges and extreme challenges if you're managing it yourself. For us, we feel that we've built enough unique use cases and we have enough unique experience that we can shrink that false positive. Couple that with things like UEBA and our SOAR in that stack, bridging the gap with NDR and EDR. You can have a full visibility stack. That's where the difference is, and that's where this becomes very powerful. Core functionality. So I talk about SIEM, obviously from an MDR, we have to have a repository, a way to be able to build those use cases. So we have the SIEM visibility, you'll get logs in your alerts. The UEBA, that's our big data analytics. That's the behavioral based detection on the backside that looks at everything from Windows files, authentication, traditional entities, all the way into the SSL and the JA3 now with the packet. So, packet-based UEBA. Endpoint detection and response, so that's host-based forensics. We can do things like download the MFT file. We can do things like, scan the device. We can track those processes. We're taking snapshots daily. It's a host-based forensic. It's extremely powerful. Network detection and response, we're not looking to be an IDS or an IPS, but it dang near seems like that. When you start building your rules into network detection and response and you're looking for those anomalies with the power of the packet, I believe we can compete very well against those folks out there in the dark trace world. Because without the IDS component bridging that gap with the endpoint and the other security technologies, you really can take a look at what is going on with the packet. The power of the packet's huge. Vulnerability management and threat intelligence. So what does that look like from a process standpoint? So we're going to collect all kinds of different data. Could be app data, could be packets, logs, endpoint data, all kinds of stuff. We're going to enrich that data for you. Once we enrich it, we're going to investigate it. We're going to build cases around it. We're going to use threat intel and a bunch of different things, processes. There's about 90 different steps we go through. We triage and alert, combination of human based and also leveraging the power of technology. And then at the end of that, we're going to orchestrate it all together. And those things that are weird or those anomalies, we're going to create investigations for and escalate those to our client. Keep in mind our escalation ratio is less than 1% of all alerts triaged per month across our whole customer base. Phenomenal. And we're going to reconstruct those events. We're going to do that reporting for you. And we'll take care of the analysis. And at the end of the day, we're looking for guys on the customer side to, bridge that, tier 4 triage gap where, that means reaching out to the user, hey, Sally, we got an alert from our MSSP that says that, you potentially might have downloaded this file. Do you remember going to this site? Oh yeah, I did. And, it's, the file is XYZ. Perfect. Thank you so much. That collaboration between the client and the service provider is key. So let's talk about the feature breakdown. So number one of any MDR practice or managed security service provider, we have to have a way to build the use cases, and we've got to have the SIEM. So having a SIEM that only collects half the data isn't very good. So we've positioned in the upper right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant and partnered in the SIEM space, and we feel that we have a large database of integrations, 300 plus. We can collect all those key functions like syslog, ODBC, SFTP, could be WinRM, Checkpoint, SNMP, Oracle. Even a lot of those unique log sources we got you covered. We have compliance specific bundles that can be addressed from a reporting standpoint. flexible deployment options. We have deployments in AWS, Azure, on-premise, on physical, and also VMware and Hyper-V. And then weekly, we do the reporting for our clients, both out of the SIEM and out of the SOAR. So a lot of different things going on there when it comes to SIEM. If you take a look here a little bit further, our next position is our UEBA. We call this our insurance layer. You know, the UEBA is so powerful. You know, it really does take anything that's outside of normal and starts putting weird stamps on it. And when you start putting weird stamps on it, it's going to give it a higher risk score. And when you put a higher risk score, it's going to identify it. It's great. And recently, with the release of being able to now use behavioral-based network detection with SSL and the J3, giving the network-based detection is phenomenal. So being able to see the file movement and being able to see things like phishing attacks, it truly does give another layer of visibility that we haven't seen out there in a combined technology. From an NDR perspective, we start looking at network detection and response. We're not looking to be an IDS, but we do capture and store the full packet. And we also store the metadata from a long-term standpoint. The one thing about NDR is it exposes network data, enhances security teams' capability to detect and respond to today's advanced threats. That's what's critical. Seeing those connection events that are in and out of the network, it really, that's what NDR becomes powerful. Being able to see all the traffic that crosses that interface that goes north-south, and then bridging that gap with the endpoint agent, it's powerful. It's really cool. From a solution standpoint, providing that real-time visibility, you can see, IPs, hosts, domains, all on one, MAC addresses, all into one visualization to pull it apart. And the most important is, these tools, they enable our team to be able to hunt and do these processes for you. But it's fun to share, kind of what some of this stuff looks like from the customer side, where we're typically working behind the scenes. From an EDR standpoint, this is a lightweight endpoint agent that we run, Feather Light. Uses extremely low power, but it's very powerful. It offers scans and snapshots daily of the device, from everything from processes to auto runs to files, to things that are patches. I mean, it's really interesting. Some of the capability that the agent provides. It also gives the ability to download things like the MFT file. It gives the ability to isolate the networking should there be a wonky device. So a lot going on there that's pretty cool. And again, creating visibility. If there's one thing that I can show you with what we offer, is we give clients visibility. Visibility is not the problem anymore. It's what are we going to do with it from there. So from a SOAR standpoint, SOAR is really close to home. This has been, an extreme, thing for us that's been giving our customers the capability to leverage technology that's typically not designed for service providers and be able to offer it back. Being able to offer things like we're almost like an American Express as a service from a SOC standpoint with some of the technologies they run up there compared to some of what we run. But being able to bridge that enterprise gap and bring that down to the underserved community is huge. And we're able to do that, and that's part of the capability, and then bridge that gap with SOAR. And you can tell a really good story from a visibility standpoint when you're presenting to your peers within your organization, and you can show them graphs and nice reports, and you can show them that, the comments of the work that we did behind the scenes. All that capabilities in SOAR. From a vulnerability management, in our 360 SOC, all of our customers get vulnerability management, internal and external. Vulnerability scanning. We offer a cloud-based agent for devices that leave the network, and we also have a lightweight one CPU VM that runs internally to scan ranges of IPs. You can also scan your website. All of that included in our 360 SOC service. So just to review some of those technologies that we bring to the table. So we offer as a baseline, advanced SIEM, hybrid deployments, UEBA, NDR, forensic visibility from a host-based perspective, threat intel, integrations with things like Office 365, largest integration platform in vulnerability scanning and management. For customers that need things like FIM or would like to go deeper into data classification, DLP, could be the cloud security space, CASB, or you're looking for business and compliance intelligence reporting, GRC. Um, never hesitate to reach out for those because we also offer those on top of our service and they fully integrate. So that's really cool. Just to recap, so 24/7, 365, integrated threat intel, automated UEBA, smart, fast investigations done by our award-winning team. We're going to use orchestration to the maximum, flexible, scalable architecture and deployments, and we feel that we can help bridge that gap and complete that end-to-end security operation environment for your organization. So what are some of the other services 360 SOC offers? We do have a full portfolio of security and compliance solutions outside of our 360 SOC offering. If you're in need of any of those services, never hesitate to reach out as well. We're happy to agnostically source vendors for you and do the back end side. A lot of these technologies we have in our lab too. So it's a great opportunity for clients to leverage and try new technologies. On behalf of our team and myself, Chris Eggleston, I really appreciate the time today. Thank you for spending 17 minutes with me for a brief introduction into 360 SOC and some of the services that we offer. We truly appreciate it. Have a great day.